Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast. This is Jessica Butts, your host and CEO and creator of Front Seat Life, where I help you be unapologetically who you are in your life, love, and business. Aloha, Front Seat Lifers. It is Jessica, and I am literally in Maui right now. I am sitting in my condo. I'm not gonna lie, I actually hope you can hear the birds outside. This is not like the best recording probably. This is probably, I'm definitely not in my home studio or my away studio. I am here in my condo with the doors wide open, birds chirping, sun out, and I am delighted to be coming to you today. So aloha. Today's episode is, I already know I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. So let me just caveat that. I think sometimes there's if people get started, I get started, and I know then that people will end up going down a rabbit hole, but I already know I'm going to go down a rabbit hole because the reason that I brought all of my equipment to Maui is because I wanted to be in this vortex of this energy to talk to you about a couple of different things, which is really meant to be the title of this episode, which is your year in review and solo tripping. So I guess this could probably be 3 different episodes, but I realize they're all kind of blending together, and you know me, I'm just going to go for it. So that's what I'm doing today. I am here. I lugged all of my equipment across an ocean because I really wanted to be in the vortex of this energy to talk about what it's like to be here to do some of the things that I do while I'm here. So let's just start there. I've got 3 main things I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to save the third as a secret. So you're going to have to wait until the end because trust me, I'm going to get real sassy in about 20 minutes. So hang tight. All right. So the main reason that I come to Maui are a couple of things. One is it is a place where I believe wholeheartedly intuitives need in their lives. So it could be anywhere for you. It could be the ocean. It could be the mountains. It could be anywhere. But intuitives in particular need time away and they need things to look forward to. So I've said this, for an entire year. We're getting ready to end the first year of the podcast. And this entire year, I've been talking about one of the facts of intuitives is that we do not nor do we flourish in a 9-to-5 schedule. We love spontaneity, creativity, thinking outside the box, living different lives. And part of that comes from not living a scheduled life. So I think about the difference between my mom and I. She is retired and her life is still completely scheduled. It's brilliant. It's like the best life ever. She's retired and she lives in 2 different homes in 2 different states and plays pickleball and has friends and does all these amazing, wonderful things in her life. Yet it's still very, very structured. Intuitives, one of the things that is very difficult for us is living a day in and day out existence of the same thing. And every intuitive I have ever met has always judged that or questioned that about themselves. And one of the things of the reasons that I do this podcast, I do the coaching, I do all the things that I do is because I want people to stop judging themselves for that. We have a desire to break schedule, to have some spontaneity, to have some things, even in a weekly schedule. Like if every day was the same for me, I just can't. I can't. It's part of the reason I have my own business and I come to Maui when I want to come, and I'm working at least this entire morning. I just had a great call with Stephanie down at the beach. I'm going to do this. And then right after this, we have a call with our copywriter. And sometimes I come here to get away, and sometimes I just come here to have a different change of scenery. I'm going to be honest, I'm doing a lot of the same stuff I do at home, except the beach and the swimming and all of that. But I'm still working. But as creative, intuitive types, we need to get outside of the box. So that is one of the reasons that I am here and that you're listening to this podcast, because you need to know as well that there is nothing freaking wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, except, again, as a reminder, 75% of the population doesn't actually, I'm using air quotes, need this. Of course, do they love it? Of course. I mean, they love to go on vacation. Well, some people don't, actually. I mean, some people don't love it. But the difference is intuitives need it. Capital N. Capital E, capital E, capital D. We need it in a different way than sensors need it. Or they maybe don't even need it. They love the routine. They're fine with the routine. Again, my mom, super strong ass, loves it. She's totally fine with it. She even comes on vacation and it's very similar. She lives a super similar life here. Gets up and exercises, doesn't actually love to eat out all that much, likes to stay in and cook. And I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. Like, where can we go? What can we see? And every day I like it to be a little bit different even while I'm here. And so that again is one of the main reasons that I do this podcast, that I do all the coaching, I do all the stuff, is because I want intuitives to realize there is nothing wrong with us. This is just who we are. Okay. So the second reason that I'm here, and again, this isn't about me, I'm just hoping you're learning, through stories, is that this is my time this year to do my year in review. So I'm actually just starting it. I'm so intentional about mine that I'm going to do it twice. I'm doing it while I'm here. And part of the reason is because I am in a relationship for the first time in in 6 years, really, in a long-term committed relationship, the first time since my husband. And now we're going away. So typically I go to the Salish Lodge, which is in Seattle, and is this ridiculously fabulous, amazing place. And I go there for one night. I check in early. I go and I light a fire and I read through all my journals. And I've done that the last 6 years. And this year, because I'm in a wonderful, amazing relationship, we are going to Cabo during that time of year. And so I was like, okay, I have to find another time to do that because it's that important to me. So I want to talk to you a tiny bit about the year in review, but I'm not going to give it all away because I am doing a free webinar December 18th at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. So here's the deal. It's free and I'm not even going to sell you anything. It's a free. There is an offer, but it's free. So the webinar is free and the offer is free. And I hope the fun of this, and maybe it's not fun for you, but lots of you amazing listeners are listen to this, but you don't actually get to see me. So I'm going to be in my living room, in my PJs, doing my year in review. I'm going to show you exactly what I do to review my year to set me up for success. So there has to be intention and purpose. We've got to mark down, like literally write down our biggest ahas for the past year to help us give some clarity on where we need to go in 2020. And then obviously one of my favorite things is to plan the coming year to be the most kick-ass that it can be. But I'm here to tell you right now, you cannot and will not, I'm going to make a bold statement. You cannot and will not be successful until you do this practice. Period. End of story. I think it's a Dr. Philism that says the best predictor of future performance is past performance. And what most people do is they don't do shit. They don't track their year. They don't reread their year, and they certainly don't figure out where was I awesome and where was I a hot ass mess and how do I need to fix it. So the first step for anybody who's listening to this, an avid listener or for the first time, is if you are not journaling, you're just doing yourself such a disservice. I mean, I'll talk about this more on the webinar. That's not the point of this podcast today because I want to get into something else in just a minute. But taking the time is the biggest point of this. taking the time. I believe you have to have at least one full day. So I am here doing a bunch of different things, but that is part of it. Number 2 is I will be partially starting it on the 18th with you guys, and then I am taking the entire day on the 20th, December 20th, to do the same thing. I'm cuddling up on my couch at home, fireplace going, coffee, all the things to help keep me going all day. And I'm going to show you exactly what I do on the morning of the 18th. So here's how you can get registered. Go to jessicabutts.com/year in review. Let me say that one more time. jessicabutts.com/year in review. It'll also be in the show notes. Go there right now. Get yourself registered. Come join me. Yes, the recording will be sent. If you're not available during that time, it will absolutely be sent to you. It's also an awesome opportunity to learn about the Front Seat Squad, which is coming up, another free offering. So as you can tell, I'm ridiculously passionate about helping people do this because it's like free on top of free on top of free. Like, I just want people to start doing this shit so that they can live a magnificent life. They can be in their front seat. They can be unapologetically who they are, all the things. Okay. I'm now going to go into my preemptive rabbit hole. And this literally could be its own podcast, but I feel like it's on top of the third point of this trip is a solo trip. And I have been doing solo trips before I even got divorced. I actually came here to Maui Kaanapali Villas, where I'm at now, when I first found out that my husband was having an affair. And I left and I moved out, and I was in this teeny tiny apartment that still to date is probably one of my favorite spots I've ever been in my entire life. It was depressing because I was sad, but I was also so fucking empowered for the first time in my life. I was living by myself. I was making decisions for myself. And one of those decisions was I was sitting in this itty bitty place by myself. And I said, I am going to go on a trip by myself. I definitely could not afford it at the time, but I just knew I needed to get away. I think it was similar timing. I think it was in January. And I just up and booked a trip, in a couple of days. I mean, I was leaving in just 4 days or something. And I came here to this place where I am right now. And I fell in love with myself for the first time ever. Because I was by myself. There was nobody to entertain. There was no one to keep happy. Granted, I was also in a very destructive relationship at the time, obviously, since he was having affairs and, there was other things going on as well. And it was the first time I had been by myself for an entire week. And there were absolute moments of, oh shit, what have I done? Oh my God, people are looking at me. This is weird. I don't know what to do. I mean, I was still married. I had a wedding ring on, but I fell in love with myself on that trip. And so that is part of the reason why Maui is still so precious to me, is actually I got married here too, which is kind of ironic, but I was married here, which is not special anymore. But that time of self-discovery and regrowth during that time, and the power of taking a solo trip and spending time by myself, was absolutely, and still today, is one of the most amazing gifts that I give myself, is time away by myself. And this time I'm here for 5 nights, 6 days, 5 nights. I think it's about the perfect amount of time. And there's a lot of people still that think I'm crazy. So this is the rabbit hole I want to go down a little bit, is I have recently, you guys know I've been in a great relationship for over a year now, and it's only getting better, and that's lovely. And on our 1-year anniversary, which was a while ago, we posted, the obligatory Facebook post about, we've been a year. I shouldn't say that. It was lovely. I mean, I love this man. I love this relationship that I'm in. It's probably the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. And we posted all the posting. And this is going to trigger some of you. I don't need you to send me a message. I promise. I don't need you to like apologize. I really don't. I really, really don't. Because what I got on the post and private messages, text, emails, DMs, all the ways people can communicate with you, Marco Polos, all the ways, not friends and clients and strangers, basically all the different people in my life sent me a bunch of messages that said things like this. And this was almost what they all said, is that I'm so happy that you're happy now. Or I'm so happy that you're happy. And while that is an incredibly wonderful, loving thing, while I really mean this, that is a lovely, lovely thing to send. And I really do appreciate it. And it triggered me pretty hard the last, month or so, because it really made me feel like I was happy before. I was happy before this relationship. And I think there's a huge frickin' stigma around the fact that single people are not happy. And that's fucking bullshit. And it makes me angry, obviously. I mean, it infuriates me, actually. And I think it's a stigma in our relationship. And this is why I wanted to tie this into this solo trip episode, because single people and women in particular, that go on trips by themselves, I think are seen as sad and weak and weird, and I'm fucking over it. Because I believe the way we should be perceived is empowered as fuck, actually. Empowered, beautiful, confident, bold, and that is not the way that it's perceived. So last night I went to dinner, and I love how God brings messages like this. So last night I went to dinner at Sensei's up in Kapalua, and I'm perfectly happy sitting at the bar by myself. I'm reading this new hilarious book. There's a couple next to me who definitely, the woman is giving me vibes of like, who the fuck are you? You're weird. Why are you sitting here by yourself? And then, of course, the universe tells me why I went to dinner there. And another single woman comes and sits down next to me. And I say single meaning solo traveler. Like, I don't consider myself single anymore. I'm in a committed relationship, but I'm there by myself and I'm not married. And so she sits down next to me, and I literally inside my head was like, oh God, I don't want to be that person. She might actually be just like me and not want to have this conversation with me. But she struck up a conversation with me lovingly about what I was eating. And I said, this is so funny. And I tell her the whole story. And I said, are you, single? Do you travel by yourself? The whole thing. And she totally did. So her name was Anna, and she lives here on island, and she goes to great places like Nepal by herself. And we had a really amazing, intellectual, deep, loving, cool conversation about what it is like for other people to perceive us doing what we do. And she said the same thing I have felt for a long time. And there's two things here. Number one is that people don't get it. They just don't understand why we do it. They don't understand that it's fun. They don't understand being by themselves. They don't know what to do with us, is kind of what we both said to each other, which I guess is fine. I mean, it's fine. But here, the second point is that we want people to quit judging that we are not full people, that we are not worthy single people. Again, I am now in a relationship, but I spent 6 years basically, dating and being single. And there was multiple times during that time that I felt alienated from groups of friends that felt like they wanted to have couples only kinds of get-togethers. And I gotta say, I find that so fucking offensive that it infuriates me. I have to say it actually ended a friendship for me. because I was so pissed off. We were on a group vacation, and there was a bunch of single people there, and there was actually married people, and their spouses just weren't there either. And we were intentionally uninvited to a dinner. I shouldn't say uninvited. We were just not invited, intentionally not invited. And we had to find out later, like through Facebook, that all these couples that, by the way, I'm not even going to talk about the couples that were there, but I was a psychotherapist for a lot of fucking years, people, and I was a couples counselor, and I know how miserable a lot of people are. Granted, I don't want that for anybody, but again, as if there is something more valuable about being in a relationship or being married is just a bunch of horseshit that we have to stop. We just have to stop that belief. Because you are coupled or in a relationship or married does not give you one more single ounce of being a more worthy or better human being. And again, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. So when you see, I would say specifically a woman, and I'm going to not lie, I find this interesting too. I travel a lot by myself, and I think it's very interesting that I hardly ever see men traveling by themselves. However, I have seen a huge new influx of women traveling by themselves, married, single, whatever. And every time I see them, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same thing. First of all, I'm going to encourage you to do it. Like, I don't care what you are, married, single, in a relationship, I don't care. Go travel by yourself. It will be one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life. I promise you that. And number 2 is let's stop looking at these women with fucking pity. Oh my God, I hate that so much. Look at them like, good for you, girl. Good on you, bitch. Good on you. Like, send out that energy. Because I feel people's pity sometimes, and I literally am like, don't you pity me? This is by choice. I have a very dear friend of mine that is single, and she I'm very happy that I empowered her to start traveling by herself. And so first of all, she made a mistake. This is just my personal opinion. Don't ever go to a resort while you're traveling by yourself. That is a terrible idea. It's full of couples and families, and I just do not think that is the best time for you. What I encourage you to do are come to hippy dippy trippy VRBOs like this, because it makes you feel like you're home and it's just not as weird. So there's that. So anyway, she started it and she went on vacation by herself. She made the mistake of going to a resort, but we text back and forth the entire time. And she's like, holy shit, this is so empowering. And she had a moment, a woman actually said this to her, that she had also witnessed her and her spouse, her husband, a heterosexual couple, that, again, bit of a judgment call, but did not say one word to each other for a couple of days. Just looked, again, her words, I wasn't even there, looked miserable. Just not communicating, not talking, not touching, not kissing, not sharing any time together. So this woman walks by my friend and says, oh, are you here by yourself? And my friend said, yes, feeling super empowered. She was like, oh, that's such a pity, is what she said. And it took my friend down for a little bit until she texted me, and I basically told her what I'm about to tell you. And I said, oh, fuck that shit, is what I said. I said, don't let that bitch pity you. She is on a miserable vacation with someone she probably doesn't really even like. And that's irrelevant. Again, I don't want people to not be happy. Like, even if you're in a relationship and blissfully happy, the point is, quit pitying. This is by choice. Like, whether I was in my relationship or not right now, I am here by myself by choice. I have a lot of awesome friends. My dude could be here with me. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. But it's being empowered, holding our head up high, walking into any freaking restaurant I want, sitting down at the bar, holding my head up high. I don't need to talk to you. I'm going to bring my nerdy book, or I'm going to read on my phone, or I'm going to watch the TV. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But don't you pity me. I am not to be pitied, and any person you see going and doing this by themselves should not be pitied. We should hold them on a pedestal and say, good on you. Good on you. So I hope to God, actually, that I just inspired some of you to do the same thing, because solo tripping gives you an opportunity, one, to do whatever you want for like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days. For you moms and parents out there, like, I bet you can't even imagine what that's like. I mean, I don't even have any kids, but I run this crazy business, and it's one of the most delightful things of just to be like, I'm going to make a decision all day long on whatever I want to do whenever I want it. For example, it's way past breakfast. I'm going to go have breakfast number 2 in a little bit. There's an omelet here that is so dang good. I'm going to go have breakfast number 2. And nobody can tell me not to do that, because I'm here by myself and I can do whatever I want. And then number 2 is that it gives you quiet to get connected with your own thoughts. Like, wherever you are, don't turn on the TV. Don't be on your phone the whole time. I left my phone in the room the other day for like 4 hours. It was so delightful and blissful to not have that as a distraction and to just be with your own thoughts. Yep. Some of you, it might be terrifying, but I'm here to tell you it's going to change your damn life. All right. I think that's it. I'm fired up. I dropped a lot of F-bombs today. I knew I was going to get fired up about that. I hope that this has been inspiring for you. Go check out the free webinar, free. It's all the freebies. I love all the free stuff. So doing the webinar December 18th, jessicabutts.com/year in review. And I can't wait to see you next time. All right, guys. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.